Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this story Fanboys Anonymous. Welcome everyone to episode 11 of the group meeting podcast for fanboysanonymous.com, where geeks go for all things in nerd culture. For this installment of the Roundtable discussion, the topic at hand is a nostalgic flashback to our childhood as we talk about the old shows we used to love from Nickelodeon. All that is coming your way, including the show All That. But first things first, it's time to introduce the speakers. I am your host, as always, Tony Mango, founder of Fanboys Anonymous. Joining me this evening on the panel, we have a lot of the fanboys on staff, so please introduce yourselves.
Do you have it? Dace. That's right. Dace man's here. What up?
You turn the page, you wash your hands. You turn the page, and then you wash your hands. And then you turn the page, and then you gotta wash your hands again. That's the problem with comic books. I'm Mike Paden. I'm happy to be here.
I'm not fucking participating in this anymore. Hey, I'm Nikki. Yeah.
Dear Diary, hi, it's me, Travis Goss.
Votre grand-père allait Aziz dans cette robe de mariage. Your grandfather looks pretty in that wedding dress. I am Sam.
And Ronnie Brown will be joining us a little later on. We'll throw him in the middle of all this discussion, which we're not really gonna...
Time for Wienerville!
We're just going to kind of talk about some random topics here. We're going to bring up a couple different shows, probably run down the whole, span the whole gamut of Nickelodeon. Nothing real solid for a structure here. Just going to talk about some of our favorites, and if we don't like something, then we're going to run that down. The one thing, though, I wanted to start off with is one of my favorite shows that I used to watch all the time, and there's something that used to bother me about it, and I'll talk about when we start actually breaking down the show, but Legends of the Hidden Temple. I used to love that show. Everybody else?
Oh, God, yes.
The thing that used to freak me out, though, those people that would pop out and grab the kids.
Oh, yeah, the voodoo guys?
And they would just, like, abduct them and kidnap the kids forever or something. You never saw the kids, like, really.
They never acknowledged it.
It was just like, you know, Jimmy and Jill are, like, running through the maze, and they got to get the shrine of the silver monkey or whatever. And then, bang, this guy comes out, and it's just like, oh, you're done. Your life is over.
To touch base on that silver monkey, how come nobody ever put that piece of thing together?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that the kids were actually abducted. I'm just going to say I haven't seen them since that show.
I don't know.
Because they're probably like fucking 30. You're not going to recognize them.
I think that they sabotaged the kids, and you would give them that monkey to mix up, and there would be like a missing part or something. Because it was like, it was so difficult. The kids would never do that. And if they did get it, then they would get abducted by the time they got to the end of the race.
I never understood that statue. Nobody ever got it. It took them forever, and it was only 3 pieces. Like, come on, feet, stomach, head, get it. Oh.
Does anybody have a favorite out of the groups? A lot of people like the orange iguanas, silver snakes. What was it? The blue barracudas was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The red parrots, is that what it was? Or the purple parrots?
The red monkeys.
Red monkeys, that's what it was. I never liked them. I was always like a silver snake and blue barracuda guy.
Not a big fan of monkeys.
I was all for the silver snakes.
I was green, whatever green was.
Oh, I was the purple.
What was green?
I don't know, but I was green.
I'm sure they had green, but...
Green sloth, because they could never figure out that damn statue.
That was one of the cool shows that I would still watch now. Why not?
Bring it back.
That kind of brings up some of the other topics that we could bring up. The shows that were all like the competitive ones. Double Dare was one of them. And I never really liked Double Dare a whole lot. What did you guys think?
I was never a fan of the competitive ones. I mean, I loved Legends of the Hidden Temple, but I never really watched any of the other ones personally.
Yeah, I never really watched it a whole lot either.
Oh, by the way, going back to the Hidden Temple real quick, it was red jaguars, blue barracudas, green monkeys, orange iguanas, purple parrots, and silver snakes.
Ah. There you go, Dace. There's green.
We're all on a computer, and it took him to tell us what the fuck the other colors were.
Hey, I'm playing with a
This is
slinky.
supposed to be looking at things with nostalgia, not looking at things on Wikipedia.
Exactly.
I'm playing. I
If my memory tells me it's the red monkeys, and it's the red goddamn monkeys.
Yeah, but you're gonna upset the fan base who used to love the show. Come on.
Oh,
Fuck the
it'll be
fans.
fine.
Whoa.
They can make
I'm
their own
kidding.
Nickelodeon
Good night,
podcast.
I love them.
Literally.
I'm surprised they've still stuck around.
We're going to have
a one
a
guy.
and literally fuck the fans.
Yeah, I will fuck every single one of you.
We
I'm
used
gonna
the F
sign
word
up
a
for
lot.
that.
I am a huge fan of this podcast.
We dropped so many F-bombs for a children's station.
Well, that was like the deleted scenes that we wouldn't see as kids.
It's Mark
Well, it
Summers
was
in the back with a cigarette going, "Fuck this show! It fucking sucks!" That's Mark Summers.
All right, we got Ronnie Brown on the podcast now. Ronnie, we've been talking about Legends of the Hidden Temple and a little bit of Double Dare. Your thoughts?
Both amazing shows. Legends of the Hidden Temple was definitely one of my favorites. Blue Barracudas were my team, even though they were awful most of the time and never got anywhere. But I still rooted for them week after week. And Double Dare, I mean, still a classic. I'm a little less of a fanatic about Double Dare, but it's still great.
I like how everybody, their favorite team, we're just running down how all the kids sucked. Dace is like, I like the green ones, but they were awful. You're like the Blue Barracudas, but they sucked.
The red team always won. I hated
Which
it.
one? The red
They
Monkeys?
were
No,
the
the
jocks.
The Silver Snakes, they were assholes. They just,
Is that why I like
Well, they're snakes. You can't trust a snake.
exactly.
Going back to what would you do for a second though? It wasn't a show I particularly enjoyed watching a lot. When it was on, I was like, oh, whatever. It's something to watch. I mean, you get to see people get slimed and pied and stuff like that, and that's what Nickelodeon was all about. Fun fact though, the host Mark Summers, who you've seen many times. I mean, he did other shows. He took part in movies and specials and things like that. The man is an OCD neat freak. So like every time that he would get slime or anything on him, as soon as the camera's panned away, he starts going into like a freak out and has to like get himself cleaned up and taken care of. And it's really funny when you like actually go back and watch those things. You could actually see like the wincing on his face whenever he gets something dumped on him or anything.
Out of
Nice.
all the jobs, this guy, like, I saw something on that even when I was a kid, where they had him on like some, daytime talk show or something like that, and he was talking about how he had to straighten the fibers in his carpet before we left the house and everything. And I was just like, wait a minute, this is the dude from Double Dare and everything, the guy who regularly gets a pie shoved in his face. Like,
Man,
out of any job in the world that you can get, the only job like worse than that would be like sanitation worker.
if I was the producer of that show, I'd be sitting like, all right, well, today we're gonna pie Mark in the face just to watch him freak the hell out.
We
'cause
did
it'll be
that
funny.
last week. What the hell?
I'm sorry, we're gonna slime you then. Let's see, have some fun with that. God,
Maybe that's
continuously
what
pick him.
what would you do end up spawning from. They were like, he keeps getting slimed on Double Dare. What else can we do? I don't know, pies to the face. Yeah, but one pie to the face has been done before. What should we do? I know. Well, have him sit in a chair, and pies will just keep repeatedly shoving in his face.
We'll make robotic arms throw pies at him many at a time. That
How can we
that was
make
the
this
coolest
guy
part of the
hate
show.
his life more?
And then they had that car that would drive through the giant pie.
Oh God.
That guy's always been around food. I mean, Double Dare, What Would You Do, and got that show on Food Network, Unwrapped.
Oh yeah.
Did
So
not bring the producer from Double Dare with him though. Otherwise, he'd be getting covered in food every day.
What if they
Just hanging out at a cafe. Well, I hear they got a fine macchiato here. Pie to the face.
What if they did that for his real car one day? Like he just went to drive his car and it's this big fucking pie waiting in front of it.
Oh, we're so evil.
I want to meet Mark Summers one day and then just sneeze at my hand like, chew! Nice to meet you. Remember you used to shove your arm up your fucking noses and pull out flags. Remember that? Nice to meet you.
Next week on Fanboys Anonymous, take Howie Mandel and run him down.
Jesus.
Oh,
We could pick
I
on
think
Michael
Mark-
J. Fox.
Oh.
He's got a new show coming up,
He
which he
does.
makes fun of himself for it, but
He,
I digress.
he does.
Well, that's good for him. I would shake his hand, but he already did it for me.
Oh my gosh.
Keeping it classy.
So Nickelodeon shows are what turned us into these people.
Right.
We have to blame stuff like you know what we turned into? We turned into Wild and Crazy Kids. Oh, there's a transition.
Wild and Crazy Kids.
We
Wild and
became
Crazy
all
Kids
that.
was one of those shows that I regularly watched, but I honestly can't remember much about it.
I
Fun
feel the
fact.
same way.
I remember they were in a mall one episode, and they had to like just run around getting various little courses. And one of the actual courses was they played that old school Nintendo game where you hooked up that mat in the floor and ran on it.
Power
And I
pad.
was like, why don't you just actually have them run? Like, why are you doing this? There's nothing wild and crazy about playing that video game.
Fun fact, I'm pretty sure the host is going to jail soon.
What?
Omar Gooding? I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was
I remember
Omar
reading
Epps.
something. That would have been even better. But I'm pretty sure Omar Gooding is in some trouble.
And that's the same guy who used to host Nick Arcade as well, isn't it?
Yeah. He got popped for a DUI. That's what it was. He hosted Wild and Crazy Kids. Yeah, he got popped for a DUI.
Now, you brought up Nick Arcade. Nick Arcade was a show that was so fun to watch and ridiculous at the same time. The host of that, if it was the same guy, I don't remember for sure, but I used to both love and hate how he would sing everything. Like, it was to an obnoxious level. He would just be like, "Now we're going to walk over to the game," and like,
Yeah.
like somebody would get like, it was ridiculous levels of the games that you had to play. It was like, all right, you have a minute and a half to score 40 million points on Sonic, and the kid would like come nowhere close, and it would be like, oh, you only got 1,000 points on Sonic. It's just-
You really suck balls. Get out of here.
It
I'm
was
Phil
not the
Moore.
same guy. That's Phil Moore, and I guess the reason why he does a lot of that is because he's a rapper.
oh, really?
Oh.
He was awful at rapping on this show.
That's because he was singing. He was better at rapping than he was singing. Come on.
Can't
What
be
was,
52 now.
Can't put a face to the name. Oh, there he is.
what was the name of the little kid? They had that screen up where you answered the questions and
Oh,
like you would get
Mikey.
the bully or something.
Mikey, yeah. It
Mikey.
was Mikey.
Oh my god. The nostalgia flashbacks are just like rushing in my brain.
I gotta tell you about a really cool
Oh,
thing
right
I went
there,
to as a little
P-Brain.
kid. What? What did I do?
Yeah.
I just had a random quote come to me because when you're playing, when you're answering questions, you move in Mikey all through the board. You answer a question, then you get to choose wherever direction it goes, and sometimes you have to avoid certain characters. Like you have to avoid the bully, and if you hit him, or if you reach the bully, he'd throw a pie at you, and before he would do that, he would say, "Hold it right there, P-Brain," and throw the at Mikey.
Oh yeah. Oh, I thought I was just having someone yell at me. But my parents, who were always awesome to me as a child, among many other things that I'll bring up throughout the show, one thing I went to the Pepsi Arena to this thing that was called some kind of Nickelodeon tour. It wasn't called some kind of Nickelodeon tour, but I couldn't remember the exact name of it. But basically, it was a combination of Nick Arcade and Guts. And they would go to the various arenas throughout the country and hold live action contests right then and there. It wasn't televised, but people got to go up on stage and compete to get whatever prizes they wanted to give out. It was like a little traveling version of the TV shows. So yeah, I went to go and check that out. It was a lot of fun. I didn't get to be selected to go on stage. Matter of fact, they chose someone who was seating directly to the right of me. I remember I was devastated about that. But yeah, really cool show. It was kind of a fun thing they did. They pretty much they didn't have like the crag for Guts. I don't even remember how they implemented Nick Arcade. That's got to be tough on a live stage. I wish I could remember because I was really young when they did this. I had to have been 5 or 6 or something like that.
Did anybody else ever go to Nickelodeon Studios?
Yes, and that was some of the things I wanted to save for later. But I went there at least 2 or 3 times. I used to go to Florida every summer because I had grandparents down there. So I very often made trips to Universal Studios, and I always wanted to go to Nickelodeon Studios. I remember seeing them building sets. Fleur Carissa Explains It All. I remember I went into this one room where they showed us how to make slime, all the ingredients for it. And I remember where it was probably the last time I got to go there, I went to a filming of Slime Time Live, which I don't know
Oh
if
my
you remember
God.
that. It was like one of
Yeah.
their little commercial break afternoon shows that
What?
they had. Yeah, and I went to one of those. You could see me plainly in the crowd. I was right behind where the host was standing, so you could see me in the camera
you
the whole
and your
time.
fucking white privilege, man. I would have killed the god. I would have killed to go to at least something of that. I've only been to frickin' Orlando like 3 times.
I went once to Nickelodeon Studios, and they did some kind of a competition thing where they had people brought on stage, and I don't remember like the full details for it because again, like in your instance, really little kids and everything, but there was something about eating slime.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they had like an edible version of slime,
Mm-hmm.
and they passed that around everybody, and I remember being way too afraid to eat it, and they had the set for Legends of the Hidden Temple that they were building, and they were like, how it upset me so much because they were like, here we're like working on the set for Legends of the Hidden Temple and all that. This show is like recorded here and blah blah blah, but not today. And we're all like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
like they brought us into this big room, and we're all standing there like looking at this, and it's just kind of like that's all you're gonna say. Move on. Like no. I would have killed to be a part of the whole actual filming of that. Although
that makes
sucked at the show.
that story reminded me of a Simpsons joke where I think they were at the Thomas Edison Museum and the tour guide was saying like, normally visitors don't get to go up these stairs, and of course today we're going to enforce that rule.
You brought up Guts though. Dace brought it up at the very, very beginning of the show, but let's talk about Guts a little bit. That aggro crag, and then the super mega ultra aggro crag where it was fucking Mount Everest apparently for little kids.
Yeah, that always looked dangerous to me. Like they're throwing boulders down that could just like hit these kids in the head and break their necks. And I don't know. Maybe if I look back now, it would look a lot wimpier. But back then, that was so intense. I always feared for these kids, and it was like, yeah, come on, you can do it. No, watch out for that. It's gonna kill you.
Right.
It was like a little kid's version of MXC.
It really is though. Now, if you look back, they're like this little plush things that are falling, and they're not even coming like close to the kids at all. The kids are still going like, whoa! And, like,
I remember chastising the hell out of those kids, sitting on my couch, shoving my face full of chips, like, come on, you idiots, you go faster than that. I must have weighed like 100 pounds at the age of 10, and I'm yelling at these kids to move faster. Oh, God, the pot calling the kettle black.
and
We always could do it better than the kids on screen were doing it.
Oh, yeah, I used to use my living room set to practice. My mom hated it.
how fun was it watching Mike O'Malley interact with Mo, and how he would just like say something incredibly fast and cut over to Mo? It would be like, all right, now Jimmy and the Green Team's going to win 100 points with Mo. Hey, Mo! The red team has scored 10 points in this round. It went from really super fast to her being just like, we're going to slow it down.
Yeah,
Some
bye.
Mo. I think a lot of people had a crush on Mo.
I
did.
I did.
Dude, she has some hot ass legs too.
Dace is sitting there, little kid, shoving chips in his mouth, telling the kids to go faster. Travis is sitting there as a little kid going like, look at those legs.
It's also a fun
Thank
fact. That's when
goodness.
Mike O'Malley had hair.
Yeah. Guts, though, is one of those theme songs that was amazing. And I should just, like, save that MP3.
Do you have it, Guts?
Na, 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 na.
Guts.
If I could sing, I would have done that for a Fanboys intro. We're going through basically a lot of the competitive shows right now. Figure It Out was another one that we were thinking of before we started recording here.
She was
And-
hot.
Summer Sanders.
Summer Sanders, yeah.
She had horse face. Even as a kid, I saw it. She's a white sister.
She was an Olympic swimmer.
Was she?
So,
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
Look it up.
something about swimming. Was it Olympics?
Oh, I'm
yeah,
intimidated.
are pretty ugly.
The only one I remember out of Figure It Out, and I always thought it was absolutely disgusting, was some kid went on there one day, and it was it turned out that he collected toe jam.
That's cute.
He was the cool kid, wasn't he?
It's like, I'm an impressionist. I
Could you-
can juggle. I collect toe jam. Like,
Could you imagine going to school Monday morning after that aired? Like, get away from me, you collect toe jam. The fuck is wrong with you?
You sit at
That
that.
kid's
It'd
entire life was ruined after that show premiered.
be funny if like that wasn't even true. They just grabbed a random kid and they were like, we need you to have a talent or something. And he was just like, I have nothing. And they're like, you know what? This kid's so stupid. We're just going to make him the Toe Jam collector. I wasn't the biggest fan of that show because I always used to get angry at the celebrity guests because they wouldn't actually guess intelligently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would just be like, just guess, goddammit. Like, it used to bother me so much. The same thing with the shows like Carmen Sandiego and all that. Any of those kind of game shows for little kids, if somebody tried to make it like fun and they were just joking or whatever, I'd be like, what's the fucking answer? Like,
You'd be the guy that answered it first question off the bat. You lose, go home, no money.
exactly. Then I would just be happy. Even as a little kid, I would just be like, yeah, fuck him. Fuck
That
Toe Jam kid.
That reminds me, celebrities on game shows. I remember this one time on Family Double Dare, and had Will Wheaton on as a guest for one of the teams, and he took the fun out of it because every time they asked a question, he always answered. So it took like forever for them to finally have a physical challenge.
He just was like, he thinking he's on an actual game show.
I think so.
Joey Fatone was on Nick Arcade
Oh,
As
really?
a kid or like
as a kid. Yeah.
as a 40-year-old Backstreet
Yeah.
Boys member?
The 40-year-old Joey Fatone announces Family Feud for Steve Harvey. So he came full circle.
There you go.
He was Mikey from Nick Arcade.
Hold it right there, P-Brain.
Oh, and backtracking a little bit to Nick Arcade, did anybody else used to get disappointed when they would only pick that wizard at the end? It was with the wizard, and then there was the green big dude, and then there was the woman, and that you could pick those ones like to fight in the last level. And people used to pick the wizard all the time. It would be like 10 episodes in a row of people picking the wizard, and I'm like, I just want to see one of the other people. Like,
Because he's an old crippled bastard and easy to beat.
well, they would lose anyway. They sucked at that game too. I mean, they must have been the Blue Barracudas or something.
The new Barracudas.
What were some of the other competitive shows? I'm drawing a blank for the rest
Get the
of them.
picture. Get the picture.
Get the picture. I don't remember that one.
This is another one that's hosted by Mike O'Malley, and what you had to do is it took place on this big screen where it was like comprised of 16 monitors, and he asked a question,
right.
and then if you answered it, you got to choose a piece of the puzzle and figure out what it was, because it was a blank picture, and then you pick screen number 6, and then it says number 6, and then up comes like either the part of the picture puzzle or something called the power surge, and it was kind of like a physical challenge type thing, and you had to answer questions or you had to do something physical. It was a really cool game.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. When did that come out?
That was around 1991, 92.
I
Same
should
time
have
as
that.
same time as Nick Arcade.
See, I actually did not see that show until it started airing. Does anybody remember Nick Games and Sports? There's that channel on Comcast.
Yeah,
Gas.
Nick Gas.
Yeah, Nick Gas. That was. I tried to steer away from that name, but that was how I started watching it years after it had aired.
Yo, you know what was the worst day of the year? Nick's Get Out and Play Day, where they
Oh,
would just
yeah.
completely cut off content and just put some stupid shit on the screen saying "Go outside and play."
Out of spite,
Who the
I
fuck do
watched
they
it.
think they are?
Out of spite, I sat there and watched it all 24 hours. Fuck them. I still
Tell me
do it
what-
today. Waste my fucking day in the summer to watch music. And the same title card.
What an anti-station type of thing to do to, like, you exist based off of commercials and people watching, and you're telling them not to watch your channel. That's kind of odd.
And those sneaky bastards do it on all their sister channels, too. It's like, you know what? I'm going to outsmart you. I'm going to switch to 134. Fuck! It's the same title card.
I really hope they don't do that on TV Land.
No, they didn't do that. I don't think old people can go out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They need their honeymooners.
And Golden Girls.
I hate that show.
I'd give it to B.
I give it a solid B+.